Hello, everybody. I'm still getting settled here. How are you? My name is Jana Nixa, and I am going to adjust this just a little bit. Okay. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to Flow Live. We're going to pick up right where we left off last week. And like I've been telling you guys, especially those that have been around with me for a while, that we were going to kind of start from square one again. At the beginning of the year so that newbies could kind of join us on this journey. But with feedback from one of my good friends and somebody that I've been teaching to meditate for a while had said, oh, she wanted it to be longer last week. So stay tuned until the end, because what we're going to do is we're going to just do a short breathing meditation for you newbies. But then those of you who want something a little bit longer, I will go on into a longer guided visualization. So you will know when you can either kind of basically just stop if you want, or those that want to continue on can continue on. So I just wanted to say that up front. And okay, let me take a look here at my notes. First off, homework. So we talked last week about 3 to 5 minutes each day and how important it is to start exercising that muscle. It honestly, you guys, it's the best thing you could do for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your spouse, for your friends. I am just going to go ahead and say, just start to do that. And I know I touched on some of the apps and stuff before, but I really like Insight Timer. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can look at it, and you can do it based on what you think you need and how long you want it to be. And also YouTube is a really great place, and it's free. So I highly recommend that you just search, and you can find what you think you're looking for. 3 to 5 minutes in the morning is ideal. Or, I do have some of my students that meditate at lunchtime during their lunch break. And then, of course, those just non-morning people will do it before bed. So today we are talking about, we talked a little bit about this last time, but the power of the present moment. Okay. You hear this a lot, especially in the spiritual circles, the power of now, the present moment. And I just really wanted to break that down for you, because I know when I started this journey, I just kept trying to really understand, like, what exactly is so powerful about the present moment. And I know, you've experienced it when you're, doing something where you just feel that joy, that fullness of the moment. We talked about sunsets last week, or holding a baby, and I was actually just petting my dog, and I thought about that as really another moment where you really are truly present and how enjoyable it can be. So we've talked about that piece, but what is really interesting about the present moment is it is about being there, but it's also very much about where you're not. And that is thinking about the future or the past, and just how much we get tied up in that. Our mind is very, very powerful. I mean, I can tell you to think about the last vacation you went on, or what pizza tastes like, or the day you got married, or something that is troubling you at work. And immediately your mind will take you to that space. So in some instances, that's a great thing. We want to be able to remember things that are magical, or anticipate things that are exciting, maybe an upcoming vacation or a new baby, or, a wedding day, whatever it may be. So those are beautiful gifts to be able to have that stuff to look forward to. But let me tell you where we get into trouble. It's the fact that we worry about things in the future that aren't here, that may never be here. There's a quote, and I'm going to butcher it for you all that know this, so I apologize, but something along the lines of, almost everything I worried about in my life never happened. So just kind of keeping that in mind. And the same goes for the past. The past is the past. If you are in regret, if you are in anger or any of those emotions about something that's happened, there's nothing you can do to change that. The past is there and we can't go back there. So while it does have its positives, it also has these negatives. And so, that's what takes you out of the present moment, is thinking about the past and thinking about the future. And the other thing that really takes you out of the present moment is judgment. Whether you've got that little critic in your head judging someone else, or I know one that we all suffer from pretty regularly is that judgment of yourself or a situation. And so it's these stories as you meditate that you start to notice that you are creating for yourself that aren't real. I'm going to give you an example. So those of you that have been students of mine and been working with me for a while have heard this, but I don't know, for me, it just really represents, especially as a mom, and you'll find that I do talk a good bit about mom guilt on here, that really just, I think, demonstrates this point. So this was actually last spring. I was going to take my daughter some food and going to have lunch with her at school. And of course, I had everything down to the minute, so I left no time for error whatsoever. So I show up to get her food. Of course, there's a line wrapped around the building in the drive-through. So I go, okay, I'm just going to go in. And there's only one person standing there. And I think, okay, I can make this work. All is well. Unfortunately, the person in front of me, she was an older lady and she just needed a lot of explanation about the menu. And, the person behind the counter was just so gracious and patient and just explaining everything to her. Well, me being all up in my head at this point is starting to get angry with this lady, starting to pass judgment on her for not knowing what she wanted. So we've got that kind of story going about who doesn't know what they want, blah, 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 blah. But then another story that's starting to materialize in my head was, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. Okay, my daughter's going to think I forgot and she's going to be crying. And by the time I get there, she's just going to be so upset and beside herself because she's thinking that I forgot and that she doesn't have any food to eat, etc., and so on and so on. But here's the thing, and I actually have to use this trick a lot with my girls too, is what was really true in that moment? Not that this person in front of me was an idiot, right? Or that my daughter's at school crying. Hey, Christina. None of those things were true. These are all things that are going on in my head. And so that's part of this presentness that we're talking about. So yes, it is about the past and is the future, but it's also about these stories that you're telling yourself. But really what's true for you in that moment is I'm standing in line, waiting to get my daughter some food, which I will. It will happen, and that I will make it to school. And, if I'm a few minutes late, it's okay. She's not going to starve. So I do that a lot with my girls and myself is, what is true for you right now in this moment versus what are you telling yourself in your head. And if you start to really meditate and kind of weave it in and out of your day, you start to notice you have a lot more peaceful moments because you're not falling victim to these stories in your head. So that's really where a lot of the power of this presence is what's true for me now. And if you are in one of these stories or out in the future or the past or wherever, that you can make a decision in that moment of being very mindful and saying, I can choose peace instead of this. And it takes you out. It takes you out of that monkey mind. It takes you out of that exhausting hamster wheel that we get on. So I did want to definitely talk to you about that. And, just looking at my notes here to make sure there wasn't anything that I forgot. I think that was really it. But I mean, you can see how, hopefully, just with that example and what we talked about, how things like meditation help with depression and anxiety and helps with focus and concentration. And again, there's so many others, but I know depression and anxiety are huge. It's a big problem. It's actually an epidemic at this point in this country. So even if it's just that, and taking that 3 to 5 minutes, you guys, in the morning with yourself to just be present. And so I just wanted to read you this poem as we start to kind of settle ourselves and go into a meditation. This is called Peace is the Moment Without Judgment by Dorothy Hunt. Do you think peace requires an end to war or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, your spouse, yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here, some other time than now, in some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment. That is all. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is the moment without thinking it should be some other way. It's so huge. That should feel some other thing. That your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is the moment without judgment. This moment is in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Okay, so with that, like I said before, this is kind of going to be in 2 parts. So we're going to just do a short for the brand newbies, just breathing, focused meditation, and then I will move into a guided visualization for those of you that would like it to go a little longer. So I'm trying to walk both sides here so that I'm serving each and every one of you where you are. So with that, I would like you to find a comfortable seat, and you can sit upright on the floor, cross-legged, or in a chair with your feet on the floor. But the most important thing is that you're comfortable. And once you start to just feel your body settle in, you can gently close your eyes. And we're all just going to breathe together. And we're going to practice that 5-point breathing that we talked about before, where you inhale for 5, you hold at that top for 5, you exhale fully for 5, and then hold at the bottom for 5. Filling your lungs and your belly. And then hold for 5. Exhaling fully for 5. And then hold for 5. Touching that stillness. Perhaps you can even feel your heartbeat in that moment. With each breath, the outer world is getting further and further away. And just remembering that if you get lost in a train of thought, it's perfectly okay. Just guide yourself back to your breath. That is your anchor. And just be forgiving of yourself, almost like gentle as you would be training a puppy. We have a beginner mind here, no judgment. Big, deep belly breaths in, holding. And exhaling fully. With each breath, just noticing your awareness turning further and further inward, knowing that the to-do list, everything else you need to do this evening or this week, it'll be there for later, but for now, we're breathing. Just a few more deep breaths from this space, just listening to the air going in and out. Sounding like waves of an ocean. For those of you who are just beginning and feel like that was enough, you are welcome to gently bring yourself back. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. But for those of you that would like a little more, let's go a little deeper. Staying connected with that breath. I invite you to just be in your body right now. When you feel yourself like starting to think or analyze or judge, just see if you can't send your awareness out of your head and into your heart. It can be helpful to even put your hands on your heart. And just breathe from this space. I invite you to imagine that two giant roots start to grow out of the base of your spine, through the chair or the floor you're sitting on, deep through all the way into the earth, growing bigger and thicker and stronger as they grow deeper and down, and they branch off into more and more roots, just like the roots of a tree. Feeling that support, knowing that you're held by the earth. and that you're always held with love and support by the earth. Feeling those roots grow further and further all the way to the center as they wrap themselves around the core of the earth. Strong and sturdy. Notice any differences in your body having that full-on deep connection in this moment. As the earth holds you with love. I now invite you to start to breathe up with your breath, just nutrients from these roots, from the earth, from deep in the earth, like an elevator, just breathing them up. Seeing these nutrients and this love. And I like to think of it as like a silvery blue light that you're pulling up from these roots intentionally. And you can feel them as you continue to pull them up, like just a light in an elevator, just coming up into your toes, your feet, the silvery blue light, your ankles, shins and calves, making its way up to your knees, thighs, back of the thighs, sit bones and hips. Breathing this love and this support and this light up into your belly, feeling it as it softens and relaxes into the moment. Breathing it up through your chest, your upper back, shoulders. Feeling the light as it comes in through your hands and your wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arm. Filling out your shoulders up into your neck, in the back of your neck. This silver blue light just flowing into the back of your head. Breathing it up into your face, to your jaw, to your cheekbones, your ears, and your nose. Filling up behind your eyes, eyebrows, and forehead. Filling it up till it just spills out of you on the top of your head. Feeling all of this earth energy circulating around in your veins, in your bones, in your organs, beating through your heart. Filling it in the back of your throat. All this loving and supportive energy and strength. And as it spills out and over you, just imagine that it encompasses you in like a circle, almost like you're inside a big balloon of earth energy. Just noticing how your body feels now, and maybe noticing it's different than it was before. Maybe tingling, Perhaps feeling a little energetic. Just breathing that and letting it breathe you. And just noticing any places in your body where you feel tense or pain. And just taking a moment to acknowledge that and perhaps breathing some of that blue silvery light into that place with the intention of loosening it up. Noticing you're so full of this beautiful light all around you and all inside you, that for a moment you become one with it. The lines get blurred. And as we bring this meditation towards the close, I'd like for you to imagine that there's all this flower petals around you. And one by one, they start to just close around this light and just close around you, just protecting you, keeping you safe, all the way around you, above and below you. This beautiful flower. And I always like to end with gratitude. Gratitude for taking the time to do the work, for continuing to show up and cultivate a relationship with your inner self, with your higher self. Thank you. And with that, I invite you all to come back to the space that you're in, back to the room, back to whatever you're sitting on, chair or the floor. Begin to feel yourself really back in your body. Perhaps wiggle your fingers and toes, even take a stretch. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And I just wanted to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I love this work and I love doing it with you guys. So I really appreciate it. And I'll see you back here next week, same time. Just a few little notes before we wrap up. One, homework. Homework will always and forever be a daily meditation for as long as you can swing it. I do usually about 30 minutes, But for those that are new, 3 to 5, set a timer. That's really, really important. It's a muscle. Remember that. You won't see the benefits. The more you do it, the more you're going to see. So please, please, please. And then the other thing is, last week we practiced doing one thing at a time. I don't know how that went for you this week, but I would love to hear your comments around not multitasking and focusing on one person at a time. And then for this week, I want you to catch yourself in those moments where you're going and you're on a story and you're worrying or you're thinking about something that's already happened, and just say to yourself, what's true now? And I can choose peace instead of this, because you always have a choice. See you back here next week. Thanks so much. Bye.